a Transformers Mo2 crossover. Whereas just right off the top of my head, Skeletor's going to be Megatron, and I was very let down that they did not pick Buzz-Off for Bumblebee.
Hi, welcome to That Toy Dude. I'm Jamie.
And I'm John.
And please give a like, subscribe, and comment on the page. Today we are going to go through the original Masters of the Universe toy line. And so this was actually, these are my original toys here. This was probably my first figure set that I ever actually played with, other than the Kenner Superpowers. So this was one of the first series, I guess, that I was that I played with as a child, and so this is really near and dear to my heart as well.
Sorry, I don't understand.
That's Siri right there. You don't need to understand, Siri. But anyway, on with the show. So we've got Castle Grayskull, and we have Snake Mountain, and we have
Fright Zone.
the Fright Zone. Yeah, I think we both just forgot what it was called.
I wasn't ready to help.
Yeah, and so
Now, with this being one of your first toy lines, did your age line up to where it was also your first on-air cartoon that you had toys for?
yeah,
It did?
Yeah. And I remember that Figures had a comic book that came with it, but then it was already, the cartoon was already out by the time I was, I guess, collecting the figures. So looking at these comic books and having mom or dad read the comic books, I'm like, that's not how the story goes. But originally, of course, it was a figure line.
The book's never better.
No. And so it started out as a toy line, and they needed a cartoon real quick, to gain more momentum for selling more toys. And it was a successful line for many years, and it continues up today.
Yeah, there was a lot of competition. The 80s was like a race to... You had to have good toys, but you couldn't do without your cartoon. But every now and then you had to do a full-length feature or something like that, because at the same time you had G.I. Joes going, you had Transformers going. The 86 Transformers movie was huge.
Yeah.
Until they did something diabolical that all the fans said, no, you're not allowed to do that. Fix it. We'll get into that in another episode.
Right.
But so yeah, the 80s was a race. It was almost like, putting a man on the moon for the first time. They took a lot of shortcuts. Looking back, you can tell now that they took shortcuts in the toys. They took shortcuts in the shows. But it was these companies combating on gaining the youth of the 80s.
Right. And Filmation was the one that did the cartoon, and they had a lot of ways about doing cartoons that cut cost. Reusing cell animations and other things like that, and the He-Man laugh, was constantly reused throughout the series. It was this. But yeah, let's dive into these toys, and we'll start with the playsets with Castle Grayskull. So here we have the original Castle Grayskull, and what's really cool about this is that each Castle Grayskull is painted differently. And so what had happened there was that they wanted more of a texture type look to the toy and not just one color for it. And this toy is amazing. This has all kinds of different things incorporated into it. We've got of course, the outside of it, and so it immerses the kid, you know, to just go into the world of He-Man and to bring it all home to play and play again and again.
Yeah, and they did a really good job. Whether they hand spray painted it or machine spray painted it or whatever aerosolic, that may be a word, it may not be
Yeah.
a word, but you know what it means. Way they chose to apply the texture colors for the paint. I like how I've came across a lot of these, and individually you don't really notice it too much.
Right.
But when you have two or three lined up together, your first thought, not knowing that or not remembering that, oh, they weren't factory painted to match. It's like, which one of these is fake?
Right.
Because there's always going to be the one that, if you have three lined up, there's always going to be one that's at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
And then one that, looks more exquisite. But they did a really good job. And even through the years, that whatever they sprayed it with, that kind of paint held up very well.
It did.
Very little scratching, revealing the base color of the plastic. It's actually uncommon to have the outside in bad condition.
Yeah. And just, from an imagination point, you've got the windows here. You can take your figures here and talk with the other figures from outside. He-Man, remember the milk and bread? And stuff like that, or whatever you wanted them to say, and you could just have a really fun time. I mean, the detail of everything here, you could even go back if you wanted to and repaint this sucker to really have a lot of detail.
Yeah, because just the plastic mold has great detail in the stonework and everything like that.
Right.
To where a modern creative could go in there with a dry brush of some more stone-like colors, and you could create a pretty sick-looking custom one of these with very little effort and very little skill, because it's all already there.
And so, the one fun thing about this play set in the front is the door itself, and with the He-Man figure and the Skeletor figure over here, they both came with a sword. One would be purple for Skeletor, and the other would be gray, which I've lost He-Man's sword, I guess, or if I haven't, it's somewhere else in another box. But I've got two of Skeletor's swords here, and all you have to do is, that's the key to unlocking the Castle Grayskull door. You just rotate and you open it. Now, because this one is as old as it is, it just falls apart,
I think it normally went down a little slower.
Yeah. And I think the original mold, when they were doing this, the door itself was smaller. So when you tried to bring the figures in or out, they couldn't fit. You'd have to crouch them down and so they went back to the drawing board, and the creator of this, made a larger door. At
The one with the
last
smaller
minute.
door, was it released to the public, or
I don't think it was.
Okay.
No, it was just in pre-planning, and it was like, there's a problem with this, So yeah, so you could line up all your good guys here, and one of the cool ideas about this was like whoever took over Grayskull had the power, and so you had like this flag here, and this showed this side was the good guy's side, and then the other one was the bad guy's side. So if Skeletor took over, and then of course the flag would be flying in his favor,
and they were just very good at sharing and respectful of the other person's
Right.
side. That instead of making their own flag,
yeah,
they just shared.
yeah, like good villains and heroes, do they came to a truce. But yeah, I mean, you could take your figures and who's gonna win Grayskull, and of course that never happened really in the cartoon.
Yeah. It also came with so all of these accessories were ones that didn't come with figures, even though like looking accessories may have came with a figure. These gray ones came with Grayskull, and it has this cool weapon holder, along with I'm assuming it's some kind of like a spin ram type thing. Is that
Probably. I don't know what it's called. I just saw a picture of it. But yeah, I guess you could have one figure on one side and the other on the other, and knock them both out. But yeah, and so you've got this gun here that normally would fit. There's a platform that you could that I'm missing, that you could place this, and you could shoot at the villains and all that. So let's take a look at the inside.
And here's the inside of Castle Grayskull. So on the inside, we have a lift over here. That
Is very, very tight right now.
Yeah, we'll let that not lift.
But it goes up and down. It should go up and down.
And there usually would be a panel that would go right there that the lift goes through, bringing somebody up from like the basement to the first floor.
Right.
You have the ladder that you can move wherever you'd like. Also,
We
the
have
the trapdoor
trapdoor.
for going down into the dungeon, and then the chair. Is that, what was it to you? Was it more of a throne, or was it like more of like a captive's interrogation chair?
To me, it was always like a throne, like the king of Eternia,
Okay.
sat on it.
I didn't
Even-
watch the cartoon, so I don't know what the throne looks like.
Yeah. I think even the sorceress, if I'm recalling correctly, I haven't seen the cartoon. That I've only seen a few episodes here and there. Now, I recall the sorceress had a throne in there, and so apparently I can't do this right. But Skeletor's trying to break in. I'll just cheat here.
I definitely can't reach it. I want to see how she did that.
That's what happens when you keep me out. You boof. And apparently the decal came out off of the trap door as well.
Yeah.
So, how would you reapply these?
100%. The only thing I would ever use is the purple Elmer's glue stick. Purple's just so that it's very visible where you're putting it. But the Elmer's glue stick is non-toxic and I'm not going to say chemical free, but it doesn't have the chemicals that a harsher glue would have. It's not going to eat the old plastic, anything like that.
Right.
It's Elmer's glue stick is more of a sticky substance that dries.
Yeah.
Versus something more of like a chemical-based harsher glue.
Right.
I have replaced mini decals on Transformers play sets and everything like that, and that is the only way I think that anybody should go.
Yeah.
It also dries slow, so you have plenty of time to, once you get it all lathered on the back, you can juggle it around a little bit to get it as straight as you want it.
Right.
It's not going to be like this is how it's going to be forever now.
Yeah.
But it's really good. And don't worry if the purple gets everywhere, because it does dry clear. But that is the one and only thing I use for decals.
That's cool. Yeah. And so, because it's this old, it just dries out,
Yep.
especially if it's in heated, hot conditions like it was in the attic. And so we have also a decal here that is supposed to go, I don't know if it goes on this side or that side. It's the gel cell.
I think that's
the
right
dungeon.
under. I think that's right under the trapdoor.
Okay. So yeah. So then the person would fall into, the dungeon. So that, of course, the same type of decal procedures, for gluing it down with Elmer's glue, this glue stick. So yeah, there's all kinds of fun that you can have inside this, and I had loads of fun as a kid. Played hours and hours and hours with this, with my figures and everything. We'll take a look at some of the figures now. So here we've got the good guys from He-Man and She-Ra. And so we have the original He-Man here. His Sword of Power, of course, I don't know where it went off to. Hopefully I still have it somewhere, but you didn't have much of articulation. You can see that his head was made of soft head, basically, like the first 4 Ninja Turtles from Playmates Toys. Of course, this is Mattel Toys. We have his shield and his axe here. And then over time, these legs, and even I remember when playing with them, the bands that actually connect the legs get loose very fast. And so they have wobbly legs, and you can hardly stand them on their own anymore. But not much articulation.
Right.
Except for, how the bands could turn, and if you twist them too much, they would probably break.
Yeah.
And then the arms just go up and down here, and nothing much like turning them left or right, or no wrist joints. They had his what would you call armbands, I guess, here, but they didn't color them in. These are some shortcuts that the toy manufacturers would do. So not everything would be.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't
detailed.
following. The
cuffs.
Cuffs.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I had it on the tip of my mouth. And
Yeah. But other than that, this is He-Man, and it is just slightly so different than the original cartoon. since the cartoon came after, they redesigned these characters, so they're not exactly like how the figures are portrayed. That would come much later.
We also have Orko, which I think I've already said a couple times. I didn't watch this show, but I think I've seen more clips and things that have to do with Orko, and the 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 ditzy comedy that he brought to the show. Um, this figure was sold with some coins with faces on it of I believe good guys and bad guys. I'm not sure the reason, if his magic allowed him to encapsulate people in discs or if it's something completely different. If you know, let us know in the comments what those what the purpose of the figure coming with the discs are. But he does have a ripcord, and instead of spinning like a top, he has just this one little metal piece that would more so, it spins, but again, not like a top. It gives them more of a balancing but vibrating feel. I'll go ahead and rip it because Jamie actually has a really good ripcord for this Orko. Normally, you're gonna find these with several damaged teeth, and we've all struggled with that hoodie from last year that we didn't realize was missing teeth in the zipper when we put it on, and now we can't get it off. It's much like that, but this is a. So it doesn't spin like a top, but it does keep him going for a little bit. I didn't want to pull that too hard and knock everybody over.
Yeah.
And then you have something to explain about this guy's hat.
Oh yeah, and before I get to the hat though, Orko was my favorite character. Just he was goofy. He was the comic relief, and his magic really were parlor tricks for the most part. His magic, he would cast spells, but the spells would be wrong, and it was more like a joke and things like that. But in the series, the cartoon series, you have more of a, I think the hat covers more down to where you have the neck part here, the turtleneck part, and so you just see like a dark area with eyes, I guess. And so I always wanted to know what Orko looked like without the hat. And so I pulled, yanked all this, and then finally it came loose. Now it wasn't supposed to come loose. As you can see, the paint from the hat has been all over the ears. And so those were the places where they were glued. And so, yeah, I was disappointed after I took the hat off. I was like, well, he just has a bald head.
Yeah, kind of looks like Stitch playing Robert Downey Jr. trying to play another dude playing another dude.
Yeah. But I loved Orko. He was a good guy, good fun guy. But here, we have another He-Man that came out. And so here you had, back then, of course, I don't think kids play it as much with like cops and robbers with the caps.
You can still get them at like Dollar General.
Yeah. So, in my day, in the 80s, we still had the cap guns and stuff like that, and we played with them. And of course, these figures had where you could put those caps in here, and then you could rotate, and I guess you would pop them.
Mm-hmm. So the mechanism, the firing pin would fire as he came around, and right whenever his hand would hit your other figure, you would hear
Pop.
the pop. And this was Thunder Punch He-Man.
Gotcha.
And that was the sound of thunder.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
And he has is it a glow-in-the-dark sword?
I want to say it was, but I don't recall. It kind of has that old. I mean, it's older now.
I could tell you. Pitch black.
Pitch black. It might have glowed back then. Who knows?
But that is Thunder Punch He-Man. Just like in the 1990-something movie Twister, we have 3 parts to a cyclone here. This is one where the band actually broke. And it's a very weird rubber. I've never read and never looked into it, but I speculate this could be complete conspiracy theory. The early 80s, when you think about it as far as manufacturing,
Yeah.
it really wasn't too far out of the era of recovering from World War II. And I heard, well, I didn't hear, I mean, I learned it in school, that a lot of our natural rubber got used up during those wars.
Yeah.
So I think that, let's say, what is it, 20, 25, maybe 30 years later, we're still trying to find the right synthetic compounds to substitute for rubber.
Yeah.
So even though they were obviously much better when they came out,
Right.
there's a lot of 80s toys. As a matter of fact, I can't think of any 80s toys that if it had rubber, that there was an issue even then. I mean, like you said, even when you were playing with it,
Yeah.
it just wasn't a very good rubber, and you can tell it by the feel. It's just weird.
And I was very curious as a child, because they were loose and you could twist them in unnatural ways, on the figure. And so I had to know what it was made out of. And I guess with this one, this may have been looser than the others. I guess I pulled too hard and it snapped.
The feel of it is almost like a softer, bendy plastic.
Yeah.
It's not even like a rubber fill. But to replace these, we're gonna have a future episode showing this. But just because we
have it ordered too.
Have him here, I'm gonna try to position him. There is a bar inside here, and whenever you have the new band, you would use something with a blunt end to force the end through. Your bands are going to look like rubber barbells with an actual weight on each end, and you're going to force that through there to where you have one weight per se on each side, and then you're going to have to like grab this with pliers and get all this out.
Yeah.
And the weight part of the barbell gets shoved down into the hole of the leg where there's a bigger cavity. So once it gets in there, it'll hook. And the one that I tried to do, the first leg was a breeze. But then you have that tension on it while you're trying to shove the weight into the other leg. So it is something that you will get better with over time. It is something that you will not be successful on your first one. I was not successful on my first one. My first Motu leg change, the band change, he had very tight legs. However, he was permanently like this. I gave up and did not figure out why. I could rotate his legs down,
Yeah.
but they would
They'd
flop
pop back
back
up,
up.
yeah.
And with an extreme amount of momentum too. Like
Right. They're fresh rubber bands.
that's
So
that's the way that he wanted to live the rest of his life.
Kick splits He-Man.
Yeah. But so, despite having the leg issue, Cyclone on the back here has a wheel, and you shouldn't have had to hold his arms up. Unlike most of the figures that didn't have shoulder articulation that went up and down, he did, but it was loose enough that it would happen naturally as he spun. So, and his arms would come out like that, and it was pretty similar to the Red Tornado superpowers, except that was a wind up and release.
Right.
Where this is a manual. I hope you have a callus on your thumb because
Yeah.
this is already getting to me.
Yeah. And, to add to it, a bunch of the 80s had gimmicks with their toys, their action figures too, that made it special and made it, more playable for it. And that's something that we don't see that much today. And even some of the cheaper toy lines, of course, as we've covered with Toy Biz, had like the lever, in the back, or the button, or,
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
I like that. It was. I love to speculate because like my imagination wasn't only in playing with the toys, but now as an adult, it's why the toys were the way they were.
Right.
It seems like the manufacturers of this era was somewhat respectful of when it comes to the gimmicks. You really don't see a blend in gimmicks through the companies.
Yeah.
Like this guy turns at his waist just like Red Tornado did.
Yeah.
But in no way, shape, form, or fashion are they anything alike because it is the same gimmick, but it's a different engine powering it,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we'll see a toy get released and it's just a copycat of something that's been done a million times. And but all of the gimmicks of these, I don't remember any other toy that whenever you would pull the ripcord, I know there were ones that would spin like tops, but the way that he just kind of stands there and moves and vibrates
Yeah.
and wiggles, I don't know of any other toy personally that was really designed to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of these features of that Mattel did with these toys also, just some of the use-over parts of the He-Man figure itself. You have the same body, pretty much, that you have with Skeletor, with the chest and some of the legs, but I mean, the feet are different.
It looks muscle to muscle on the back too.
Yeah, and so you've got very similar and the same thing. So they would reuse it just to save a buck or two, and paint it differently, and so you'd have a brand new figure.
One man's muscle is another man's muscle.
Yeah. Buzz.
I never have him down low enough.
Yeah.
They go like... I gotta do it. Well,
Yeah.
okay. It actually sits on top of his head. Like that. Because when you have it up like this,
Yeah.
it exposes his eyes. I mean, I guess your nose is a little worn. So it probably is supposed to be like that.
Right.
It's just the nose really doesn't hold it very well. But it still looks good covering the nose.
Yeah.
So either way, the goggles should have had a strap.
Yeah. This, of course, is Buzz Off. So this figure, I just suddenly remember that I just liked the color of it. And I liked the wings whenever I was a kid. And so I had to have it and got it. And so he's got this goggles mask thing, and then when you take it off, it's what he looks like underneath here. Um, and of course, the nose is worn down, and there is some indentations of his ears, I guess, that you would fit over it, I suppose. I'm about to put it backwards. So maybe it is supposed to be like that.
I stand corrected, because if that's where the...
But I guess, I mean...
No, that makes sense, because that's where the holes line up. Or are they not holes and they're just the concave for the...
I don't know.
For the antennas?
Maybe.
Either way.
Either way. I mean, it's your own... It's your imagination. And so, whatever you wanted it to look like, you had the power, to make him wear it the way you wanted him to wear it as well.
We were actually talking the other day, not to... we're not even caught up to modern toys yet, so it's hard to talk about future toys.
Yeah.
But there's an upcoming... it has been officially announced, so I don't think we're spoiling anything.
Right.
A Transformers Motu crossover. Whereas just right off the top of my head, Skeletor's going to be Megatron, and you could probably find 5 to 8 Transformers that you can just immediately pair up with people from Motu. And I had Buzz Off pegged to Bumblebee. He's not only a good guy, he's a bee. And
yeah.
I was very let down that they did not pick Buzz Off for Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Your Bumblebee crossover is actually going to be Man at
Arms.
Man at Arms, which is more of a human character that just had good gear.
Yeah. But I think this was a lesser of the main characters, I think, and that's probably the reason why, because Man at Arms was like right up there with
almost like He-Man's right hand.
He-Man's right hand, yeah. So that's.
I mean, I get it lore-wise, but
still,
it's a bee.
Yeah, it's a bee. So then now we've got Cringer, Battle Cat. Cringer is, of course, the scaredy cat when he doesn't possess the power, and he's Adam's loyal pet, and he's afraid of everything. But of course, when Adam reaches to the sky and calls out by the power of Grayskull, he points the power sword to Cringer, and the power turns him into the Battle Cat. And so here's his armor. I forgot the original storyline with the cat toy, but this cat figure without the armor was from another toy line. And so they decided just to paint him green and with some stripes here and there and put the armor on, and you could pass this off as He-Man's, sidekick cat.
No.
And so the toy game is just basically reuse. And we know that with Batman.
And these are these Battle Cats. The cats themselves, they're made of a very sturdy plastic, and they use a really good paint. The most common issue that I've seen with these is the strap for the saddle.
Mm-hmm.
It's much like the brown Ninja Turtle accessories.
Yeah.
It's a lot like a lot of the things we've covered already in the past. Luckily, the saddle doesn't do a poor job of sitting on the Battle Cat
Right.
without the straps at all. Because I've had those those saddles with zero straps, and it was still a functioning saddle. So they were worried about saving all that money. They could have just not done the straps and saved even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
But another thing is a lot of times your figures and your mounts don't go together,
Right.
especially when you have low articulation
Yeah.
in the legs, because it just looks dumb.
Yeah.
But the legs, they made them fit. This is a loose leg figure, so you have to have a little bit of faith in this showing. But the legs do actually fit within this very well, to where whenever you're moving your cat around, it actually looks like He-Man's riding this versus another figure that doesn't bend at the knees. It's
Yeah.
gonna look
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous trying to put him on a saddle, because he stands normally like this, and then you're trying to fit a horse in between his legs.
Yeah. And you can't move his legs at all, you know.
Yeah.
to-
They just swivel at the hip. There's actually a I'm one of my biggest fandoms is Lord of the Rings, and Toy Biz actually picked it up weirdly for the theatrical releases of those movies in the early 2000s. It was like every couple figures they nailed it,
Yeah.
and it was a piece of art. And then the fillers were like, whose face were you going for, kind of thing. And then you had quality issues, but not to get too much on that. Specifically, there was a warg, which is the wolf, and there was a rider that came with it,
Right.
which was an orc. And it was, I bought the warg, and I threw the rider away.
Oh.
Like recently, like I didn't want the rider
Yeah.
because the leg design for the mount was so bad, and this
Oh.
is almost 30 years later
Yeah.
versus this. So well, about 20, closer to 20. I'm not doing the math right now, but closer to 20 years. But the warg only moved at the hips. But his natural stance was to stand straight. So whenever you moved his hips out, he did like a Y.
Right. Yeah.
But then he's going
but
on
you
this
can't-
wolf, and it's like these were sold together. So good on them for the design of this saddle. They really thought about these characters' legs whenever
Definitely.
they did that. And I'm gonna quit digressing into Middle Earth.
But Battle Cat, and then what's the other cat?
Panther.
Panther. Yeah.
Which Panther came flocked. Now
Yeah.
it's a little harder to find him in good condition, just because the flocking
Can be damaged and rubbed off.
it can be damaged and rubbed off, and also it's whether it's done by paint or by glue, it is adhesed
Yeah.
to him. So weather and temperature would also play a part too.
Right.
If you left Panther outside overnight in the rain,
Yeah.
in a Florida sandbox,
Right.
to where that the wet dew, would practically start to boil the next morning.
Yeah.
That's way too big a temperature changes, and that flocking would just fall off.
And even if, as kids, we brought our toys to the bathtub, and you wouldn't want to dip Panther into the bathtub, because then your water would turn purple, you would turn purple, and with the flocking rubbing off and all that. This is also, this didn't come with Castle Grayskull, did it?
No.
No. So this is the sorceress when she turns into a bird, and this is the only way that she could Escape from Castle Grayskull.
It was actually a solo purchase. The only thing it came with was a perch.
Yeah. And so the wing has gotten bent, so it just wants to flap over here, but there's a fix to that,
Well,
somewhat.
when so I haven't spoiled it for Jamie yet. I recently was dealing with one of these, and I thought that if I took and rubber banded the wings down around here, and the one I was dealing with also had something wrong. One of the wings was like way over this way, so I folded these wings up like this and put another rubber band there, and I waited, which while it was rubber banded and in place, I hit it with a hair dryer, let it warm up a little bit to where it would be cooling in that position, and then I waited days, like literal days,
Yeah.
and I cut the rubber bands off, and for the matter of about 3 seconds, it looked exactly the way I wanted it to. And then it slowly started transforming back to its original stance from 3 days prior.
Wow.
So I don't know. I need to investigate it more. If we need to heat it up, get it where we want it, and then rapidly cool it,
Yeah.
as in like hold it in the freezer. There's also more time.
Right.
Um,
That could be another, short video in the future that we could show with the bird.
and it's annoying to put back on, but all of the wings, the backing, and the tail does come off. It's one piece, and it would lay pretty flat. So maybe instead of a rubber band trying to hold it down against its natural state, because its natural state would have been flat.
Right.
Maybe a stack of encyclopedias on it flat would
Yeah.
would do much better, because not only was I trying to bring it back down to where it was, I was also banding it further than what it should have been.
Right.
So we're gonna test some things out, and we'll let you know how it goes, because most of your birds are gonna look like this. There was that one, and there was another one called Screech. I was actually dealing with Screech.
Gotcha.
But almost everybody's bird's going to look like this, unless it was very, very well taken care of and not had anything dropped on it in the toy box.
Right. And it's slowly
Yeah.
rising. But yeah. But we'll find out if we can fix him or not later on.
I always want to say Roberto.
Roberto.
And I always picture him. I always picture him coming in with a Hispanic robot voice.
Yeah. Roberto. we have Roboto.
Roboto, yes.
Roboto. Si, senor. But no. So I have no idea about this character, but I guess the draw to it in the toy store was that he had a transparent chest, and you could see all the mechanics of Roboto. Roboto. He has a hook like a pirate as well. And I think you can actually, you can take this out, and there might be some other accessories that come with it. I don't remember.
I do think he came with a couple different things.
Yeah.
And don't be fooled. The gimmick that's inside his chest is just for him. That's not what's in the inside of
Right.
the other guy's chest.
And you can kind of, I had it moving for a moment.
I was about to
There we
say.
go. Yeah. Twist his waist, and then you can see the gears. Apparently, you can keep on twisting like this. But I want to say that as a child, I was like, so that's how it's made, you know?
It wasn't just his gears. Do you see
Yeah,
his mouth?
right here.
That's how he talks.
I am not Roberto.
That's a lot of things you got to do to be able to talk. You got to keep them feet moving.
Yeah. But there, you know, there's a lot of fascinating toys with this line. I mean, they just kept it coming, and the creativity of it. And I think this is it why it's lasted so long, I guess, as well. The playability of it.
And then we got Rokon. We don't know much about him. He does transform into a rock. I originally thought whenever we were grabbing him that this was a GoBots Rock Lord.
Yeah.
Because it very well resembles one. But the Rock Lords were a little tighter and a little harder plastic. So we went with our original theory, and I looked them up, and it was actually Motu. He does have a hole in his chest. He was sold with a single weapon, which looks like a pistol. I'm assuming you have the option of holding it in his hand, which is weird because I just noticed he doesn't get a chance to hold. If you look, he has the hole in his hand here,
Right.
which means that if he was to hold a pistol, he would be holding it sideways.
Yeah.
And this arm does not give him the chance of holding it out, correctly.
Yeah.
So that hole may or may not be for that gun. The chest hole might be where that gun actually resides.
Right.
Because I couldn't see. Like every scene, this guy rolls in, and he's just
Let's roll out. Almost
brandishing his pistol sideways.
His face looks like Bicentennial Man to me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Robin Williams if you wanted a Robin Williams.
I get a little Oz Tin Man feel to it too.
And yeah, I guess you could also use this as with your Transformer toys as well, possibly.
Yeah, I mean,
As a crossover, maybe.
out like this, it doesn't look like a Rock Lord, but in its rock form, it really doesn't look that far off.
Yeah. Nice little thing. You have him as a rock and then surprise the villains. Ha! Do all kinds of things with them. You can throw them at the villains too.
So next we have Adam, and it is the land shark.
Here is, He-Man's form, as a humanoid.
With the exact same amount of muscle.
Right. So, how is he playing this secret,
I remember the first time He-Man was explained to me, and I had this picture of like Shazam in my head, right? Of there's like this scrawny guy, or this like peasant beggar, or whatever, and he draws upon the power of Grayskull and becomes He-Man. And then I got shown Adam, and they're like, no, it's this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just He-Man wearing clothes.
Yeah.
Like it's the same guy.
Adam, in the cartoon, he wore a pink shirt, and so he also had a higher voice when he was playing Adam, and whenever he would turn into He-Man, he would start with the masculine voice of power. And so I guess that's, how you would distinguish between the two. Oh, he couldn't be Adam, because he doesn't sound like Adam. Looks like Adam, but
And Adam doesn't show off his body.
right.
Self-conscious Adam.
Yeah. But with this vehicle, if I can get it to do this again. Nice little gimmick here. Have, another toy, another action figure, and the shark would get it. And so you had the guns here, and it's just Adam and He-Man's personal tank, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's a fun little vehicle.
Speaking of vehicles, the Roton there. Did it spin as you went forward with it? It does. Okay. There's one single wheel on the bottom. And so you can only go one direction with it.
Yeah.
And when you did that, you can imagine driving that into a bunch of standing figures. As you can see, they're not hard to knock over.
Right.
This would give a strike.
Looks like he had a run-in with Moss Man.
Yeah.
With the
There's
leftover of Moss Man's flock.
what do they call that? Touch DNA?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure parents loved kids playing with this for hours.
You know what it sounds like? Superpower's Batmobile.
Yes.
It's just a piece of plastic
Plastic?
clicking another piece of plastic.
Yep. Simple technology.
Yep.
I wouldn't even call it technology. Tila here.
Yeah, we do have Tila. I
Yeah.
forgot about Tila because we had already showed her a little
Tila?
bit earlier.
Her legs have been shot, pretty much. She's doing the leg workout here. But here she's got all kinds of different armor. She's got her snake staff, serpent staff, possibly, and then her serpent mask, helmet,
I'd go with cow.
cowl.
Yeah.
And then,
Not traditional, but
Right.
I think that's the closest.
Yeah.
Is a cow.
And so she has her little shield here. The only thing with, especially with He-Man with his shield, she couldn't pull her arm forward so that you would just have to turn the shield kind of
Yeah.
And manipulate it a little bit. But yeah, arms just go up and down, and legs can go all over the place. But yeah, and then when you take the cowl off, you can see what's underneath. And of course, there is a missing piece here that probably broke off a long time ago, which would actually, you could wrap it around and make her wear it more securely. So these figures, though, as you can see, they had been used and played with because of all the broken toys.
Yep. Then only other thing we have left on the table was She-Ra, which was
The Princess of Power.
would you call it a spinoff? Was she?
Well, I think...
Did she appear in He-Man and then they did their own thing with her, or did they start doing their own thing with her and then she showed up a little bit?
I could be totally wrong, but I think they introduced her in a Christmas special.
Okay.
And He-Man was involved, and it was more of this is now, He-Man for the girls. But of course, as what I've heard from interviews and such on YouTube, that the girls were just fine with the He-Man show. And it wasn't like they needed, a female character. They were just fine with He-Man, but the powers to be thought that we need to make a new show and have a hero so that the girls had a hero, and so here comes She-Ra, Princess of Power, and so she would transform just almost identical to how He-Man would transform, and so as a He-Man fan, I had to have some of these figures. Now, there's some guys out there that would never touch a girl figure,
Right.
or even watch the show because it was too girly, type of thing.
You don't want to get them cooties. They're hard to cure.
Yeah.
I don't think this particular figure was sold with it, but we do have the Crystal Swiftwind that she would ride. This is a translucent version of Swiftwind who would normally be white, but everything else is somewhat the same. Still gets the wings, still gets the helmet. I've actually had arguments with little girls about what Swiftwind is, because you have a horse, you have a Pegasus that just has wings,
Yeah.
you have a unicorn that just has a horn,
Right.
and then you have an alicorn, which is wings and horn. Well, unfortunately, if you were to take the Swiftwind saddle off, the wings go with it. So were the wings a magical attachment or magical accessory?
Yeah.
Or was it, is it just a horse? And I believe the horn's the same thing with the helmet armor.
Now, the one thing that's different about She-Ra here from the He-Man line is that she doesn't have rubber bands in her legs, and you can't spread them. So when it comes time...
That's what She-Ra said.
You have to do the little sit down.
See, this would be a bad mount configuration.
Yeah, so, what happened here?
It just doesn't look natural.
Her legs go out, and she doesn't fit the alicorn. If He-Man visited, heaven forbid, we do this to He-Man.
He fits better on it than she does.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. You know who would be jealous of that?
Oh.
Bo here. I always assumed this was She-Ra's love interest, and it's not.
Yeah.
He was more like her buddy.
And boy, this figure can strip down too.
Yeah, he has a very, very pretty quiver.
He's glittery
The
too.
ends of the arrows are hearts, clubs, and diamonds. I don't know if you noticed that before. Hearts, clubs, and diamonds.
I probably did when I was younger, and I'm reacquainted with it now.
His bow is very glitterily.
Yeah. You said girly and glittery at the same time.
I did. I was trying to say girly but not get canceled. So
Right.
the glitter, I think, was helping me out there.
Yeah.
This figure just, I don't know. I understand that their target audience was little girls, but there's just something about this figure that it makes me think of He-Man. It makes me think of like an off-brand He-Man.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's what I originally thought whenever I was digging through my old toys. I was like, there was a new line of He-Man figures since, Mattel and the original show, and there was a new show and so I thought, maybe I asked Mom for a new He-Man figure, and she got one of the newer ones, but it wasn't what it was.
Yeah, like one of the short run fails or something like
Right.
that. Yeah, I saw him several times. Without all the gear, he definitely looks How does that come off?
I think is it a button? Or, oh, it... There.
So he has a heart
Yeah.
that...
He has heart.
Oh, you can see it in the camera.
Yeah.
He has a button on the back, and it's not lighting up. What's happening is there is an actual heart inside that whenever I push the button, that heart is moving closer to the outside of his chest where there's a clear window.
Yeah.
It's to give the impression of a beating heart.
And it almost looks like, and I think it's just because the cape had touched his arm. It almost looks like he has a heart tattoo on his shoulder.
Yeah. That's funny.
This is one of the stranger figures, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, looks like he'd be riding right here with He-Man.
He-Man's doing that laughter. Yeah. So enough with that. Now on to the baddies.
The Motu villains. I'll let Jamie start off with his favorite.
Skeletor! And we've seen this earlier, and so we'll see it. We'll look at it again up closer. And he's just like He-Man, except for they painted him bluish gray and purple with his own accessories and his staff and his evil staff. And so, yeah.
And I think the figures are molded the same. We don't have a separate figure for this, but these are the accessories for what is called the Dragon Buster
Skeletor.
Skeletor.
Yeah.
And it puts a squirt gun on his back because that's what T-Rexes do on the back of villains.
Right.
And he would also come with a metal chain with a green shackle on it and this green padlock here for locking people up. I'm pretty sure you can use the regular base Skeletor for that.
Yeah. And so he's got the squishy head as well as He-Man. And, of course, his half sword, whenever paired with He-Man, open the Castle Grayskull doors.
Webster here has seen better days.
Yes.
So I guess Webster was an infiltrator in the show because his backpack works like a wind-up grapple hook. This is the string and the counterweight that you would pull on it. It is not extremely easy to open this up and get everything wound back up in there after somebody decided to be too rough and cut it. But it is possible. And again, obviously he has, we can go ahead and pull out the remnants of his old band there.
Yep.
Which is
very hard.
That is not even soft.
Just at the very tip it's soft, but yeah.
But
we can throw that away in the garbage can there.
He has his legs as well. So this, I'm assuming just by accessory law, this would be the infiltrator climbing into, trying to climb into stuff.
Here we have Multibot, and this figure is kind of cool here because you can take him apart like so and create just a number of different forms. I'm missing a blue leg to go on this side here, but then I've got some of these joint pieces here that you could use, and you could actually make one figure out of it, use this, and put both heads together like so, and then use this right here, and then a number of possibilities. And I believe this is probably the figure that when I picked up that had instructions, it had ways to put it together, and I was just confused by it. I just wanted to play with it, but it was, you know, all in pieces.
I didn't know IKEA was writing instructions back then. Have you tried to put an IKEA thing together?
Yeah.
It's usually just a picture of
Pictures.
of a picture of all the parts and then a picture of it assembled.
Yeah.
And
Put A to B and
make this.
make this. Yeah. So here we got that.
This is a cool figure because I haven't came across it very often. I actually have came across the figure quite often. It's one of the lower end, more common, cheaper figures to find, but when you find him, he's not going to look like this. It's going to be without his disguise, and he is more commonly found
To have some snake-like features. Oh,
All right.
there you go.
So typically you're going to find them looking like this. This is one of the most common vintage He-Man to come across out in the wild, or the flea market, yard sales, whatever. But he's typically going to look like this, and he's worth about like $5 to $8. Apparently this is 3 snakes that form up together and put on a human-like disguise.
Yeah.
Probably to fool people. He also gets a green snake scepter and a snake shield. You know, and he has snake on his chest piece. So, not the best disguise, I don't think.
Right.
He's advertising the Snake Clan pretty
Yeah.
heavy.
There's a guy that likes snakes.
Yeah.
He is a snake.
He's a Slytherin snake.
He's a
But-
Slytherin snake. Here we have Grizzlor. He has his bow, which
Oh, I always did it from underneath. I would pull that down. But I see what you're doing. That makes more sense.
well, I couldn't remember how to do it, so
It
it has a little hook here, and you just put it there, and it's just a simple little.
it just has a sprong noise. No projectile.
Yeah. And then he comes with his little chest piece here, and you can, of course, take it off if you like the natural look there.
And he actually came in a light brown and a dark brown, as far as the fur, and the
This would be the dark brown.
and the skin tone. That's actually the light brown.
The light brown, okay.
Yeah, the dark brown's very dark. And whatever they use to connect that fur to that plastic body, whether it be glue or it's actually like poked through holes and knotted on the other side, However it is, I have never once came across one of these that had fur issues. If you believe that or not, I've never once ever seen one.
Well, I'm feeling like it's like a glove, maybe, that they sew the piece together,
Almost like on a
and then
canvas
they just
backing,
kind
and
of
then
slide
just
it in, and because
and then close it up.
I'm feeling like some fabric here, and then of course you look here, you pull this back, and if you can see that, you can see like the other end of his face.
Yeah, yeah. I never looked into it, but it with what you're saying goes right along with my speculation that it probably wasn't just glued to the body,
All right.
because everyone I've seen, the fur is in really, really good shape.
So it's almost like clothing for this figure. So yeah, nice touch, nice idea to do this for this type of figure, along with like flocking with other figures, and just to give it texture and to really let it stand out, and not just be another piece of plastic, So yeah, Grizzlor.
Beastman here. I believe if he's not complete, he's very close to being complete, and it looks like he is complete. He has 2 arm guards, and then his chest piece with his whip. I always thought that this whip looked like a high school cheerleader megaphone.
Yeah, because
It's a
go team go.
It's a weird design for a whip, and I think the first one I ever came across didn't have the string attached to it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why this dude's Beastman had a megaphone.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of pre-adolescent Simba roar do you have? But nope, it is actually the handle of a whip.
Now, here's the thing. Beastman is supposed to have hair. And they do all this for Grizzlor. They do all this for what we're about to talk about, this guy here. I forget his name.
Mossman.
Mossman. But for Beastman, no. That's one gripe that I have. But, I mean, Mattel has done so much with their figures that you just got to hand it to them, and you got to let that one go. We have Mordock. Maduk.
Madulok.
Madulok. There we go. And he's got several other pieces, just like the other figure that you put together. I do not know if I've got all the pieces or not, close to it at least. But tell me your story about this guy when he comes into the toy store.
So he's never ever put together, and you don't even notice any parts of him until like if you get to the bottom of, somebody's toy box or something like that, and it's really hard to count them as present, because you normally just find 2 or 3 parts in a vast collection.
Yeah.
And then later on, sometimes it's like, oh, we do actually have enough parts. Maybe not to complete them, but at least to form something of presentable quality. He has enough legs to stand, kind of thing.
Right. And he stands very well, too. Another thing that we've talked before in other episodes is that sometimes, the protective coating for these toys wears down, and they become very sticky. And so this one in particular is very, very sticky. Um, there are a few things that you can do um, to kind of clean it up and remove some of the grime and stuff. What are some of the tips for doing so?
Usually just some warm water and Dawn dish soap.
Yeah.
Um, I would give it a little while to soak.
Right.
Cleaning is usually easier with something bristled on something like this because you have a lot of texture and grooves.
Mm-hmm.
A toothbrush works great,
Yeah.
or a very small paintbrush, but the paintbrush would need pretty stout bristles.
Right.
But yeah, just warm Dawn dish soap. Clean them up just like they do the ducks after
Yeah.
after the oil spill.
Yeah. Would you suggest any of this? Gooby Gone?
I wouldn't.
No.
Only because it's oil based.
Yeah.
It's so that's like oil and acid mixed together.
Okay.
The base is citric acid. That's what eats the adhesives.
Gotcha.
And I wouldn't put acid on anything vintage.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they needed it, but it has so much oil in it. Like whatever you clean with that is
Yeah.
going to be oily for hours. So it's hard to even tell that. Like if you're doing it for something like this, if you were doing it for adhesive, you would know when you're done,
Yeah.
and then you just wait for that oil to dry. If you were doing it for something like this,
Mhm.
you wouldn't even know that it had worked or not
Right.
until the oil residue
Yeah.
went away, and then
So Gooby Gone.
I wouldn't use it for toys. Now, for things like if you're trying to put new stickers on or reattach stickers to like the Millennium Falcon or one of your play sets, and some of that, the adhesive, if the adhesive from the sticker didn't come off with the sticker and it stayed on your play set, you definitely could use this to get that old residual
Gotcha.
off of the play set.
And then clean it up.
Yeah, oh
properly
yeah,
with Dawn
yeah. You'll
soap
want to
and all
clean
that,
up the
yeah.
oil off of this.
Yeah.
I never understood why they put so much oil in it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's scientific, above my pay grade, and somebody probably made a lot of money by doing exactly what I'm complaining about. However, it will leave an oily residue. You want to be really careful. I actually, the first time I used it, I was cleaning out the inside of a battery compartment of a electronic lightsaber, and I didn't know how oily and how much residue it was going to leave, and I way overused it. And there was so much Goo Gone residue inside the compartments of the lightsaber that if you put batteries in it, it automatically turned on even though you didn't hit the on switch. So like the residue was completing the circuit. And so we're like, oh, let's take the batteries out. We'll check it when we come in tomorrow.
Yeah.
It did the same thing. We checked it every day for a couple days. We finally took the batteries out and we put the lightsaber up for a couple weeks. And after 2 or 3 weeks, I tried the lightsaber. It's still the same thing.
Oh.
And then we put it up and forgot about it for months.
Yeah.
And eventually we got it out, and then you actually had to use the on button to turn it on,
Yeah.
the way that it was correctly meant to be done. So yeah, definitely don't use Goo Gone in places that you can't get in to clean. It's not good for electronics. It is conductive. Even the residue is, because it is an oily residue.
That is good to know. Very good tips. So if you want to clean your figures, Dawn soap,
Dawn soap.
And for decal mess and others.
Yeah, if you're wanting to
Goo
tighten
Gone.
up some decal mess
But
to
then
get the old adhesive off.
after that, scrub it lightly with bristles with the soap afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Dawn will counteract
Yeah.
the grease in it, and you're good to go.
Awesome.
Another thing, if you don't want to, if it's a small enough area, you really don't want to mess with a whole bunch of, get a bowl of Dawn dish soap and, this whole 9 yards. Any kind of Windex or glass cleaner, something that dries fast but isn't as harsh as pure alcohol,
Yeah.
will also clean up an oily residue.
Cool.
So any Windex or window cleaner could,
Yeah.
you could spray that on a Q-tip for a small spot.
Sweet. So here we have Moss Man, and he's pretty special too because he's got the flocking material all over him except for his hands and his crotch area and his face. And so a lot of these can be bare in a lot of places because it's worn off. I do believe I have probably gotten this wet a couple of times, maybe. Some of it probably did come off a little bit. And I don't know if this actually stopped here or not, or if there's like an accessory that, no, just this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was probably from, that's, if I were to imagine playing with these toys, this is where you're going to handle them the most because, you're not grabbing him by his head to move him around and play with. So there's a lot of play right here on his hips that's where the flocking's rubbed off. So I'd say that's the most common place to be missing it.
Gotcha.
And it's literally like, I don't think it's fiberglass, but the way they did his, it literally looks like fiberglass particles that were just sprayed or dropped on after he was hit with some adhesive. Like I said, I know this is not fiberglass.
Yeah.
Most likely asbestos, right?
Yeah. Don't breathe it in. I think there's a missing piece on his head too. That might be the piece that is on that other vehicle that he hit his head on.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. Yeah. And there's some missing pieces here, and if you were to scratch off the flocking, there is some texture on the plastic itself to make it look like it's hairy.
Kind of like a Plan B.
Yeah. Or maybe, when they were making the figure, hey, it would look better with, this material on it. And this guy just doesn't want to hold his accessory here. Keeps on falling out.
Next up, we have a complete tongue lasher. Not too much going on with his accessories. He has a dragonfly crossbow. It does not work in the sense that the past crossbow worked, like with Grizzlers. And he has a purple snake staff. His main gimmick is he has a wheel on his back, and his tongue winds up inside. And
His tongue almost looks transparent there too.
I like the gradient in it though.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
Come on. We won't waste too much time on film. I'll give you a good 5 seconds. What does that remind you of from the late 80s
Okay.
through the 90s? Something we ate.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking of. I can't recall the
Fruit roll-ups.
Fruit roll-up, yeah.
It looked like it is almost the exact radiant color to give us fruit roll-up flashbacks of the, I believe it was the tropical flavor ones.
Yeah. I never liked fruit roll-ups. I thought they were.
Love them.
I thought they were the coolest thing until I tasted it, and I was like,
I loved them. Fruit by the Foot I didn't like as much.
Yeah.
But Fruit Roll-Ups, yeah, I really like those. And Gushers.
Gushers, yeah.
Gushers is life. Like it's life itself. But that's it for tongue lasher. Usually whenever I come across these that have problems, it's not that the tongue is missing, which you would think would be an issue. It's that the wheel is locked. So whether his tongue's always out or his tongue's always in, you can't turn the wheel. And that's been more commonly what the issue is versus an actual damaged tongue.
Yeah. Here we have what is left of Stinktor. And he's got his band still in here, and it just popped out onto the floor there. And there's one over here that I would have to get like some tweezers or
Diggers.
some pliers, diggers. And so his legs, of course, would have to repair those, and that's coming in another video. But Stinktor right here, and he's got his chest piece that can be removed, and he looks buff. And then he's got his shield here as well.
So skunk I'm not messing with.
Yeah.
Not a lot to say about Manny faces.
He's got many faces.
It does come with a pistol. This is a complete one. And you turn, yeah, I see it. You turn the top of his head, and he has many faces. All the way up to, I think, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 faces. So many. So many they named him Manny Faces. You better be careful. That's probably your most expensive Motu figure. It is, I think.
Something looked wrong about it. It's like his head is like way in there.
Yeah. It's supposed to be.
Okay. So
Did he lock back up?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. It just didn't sound good. I'm
I
like,
know.
geez, that's an internet bill right there.
So, what's this figure called again?
Horde Trooper.
Horde Trooper. So here you have it when he looks normal without his legs being broken. And he's a trooper, all right.
And he is complete with that staff. The most common issue found with him, I think it's because of the gray color. It's actually what we call plastic degradation. And it'll look like he has the chicken pox. And the chicken pox will look like mold.
Yeah.
But it's
not.
But it's not mold. And you cannot wash it out.
Yeah. I have figures like that, and I've always thought it was mold.
And I was looking for an example. There's not a single spot on him that is an example of that. But I myself have watched videos. I haven't tried it myself. There is a whitening technique with hydrogen peroxide and UV light that they use to make toys white again. Which you want to be careful with toys that are multicolored, because you're going to make the white white. You're going to make the white whiter, but you're going to make the colors lighter as well.
Yeah.
So I would definitely look into doing that correctly if you do try that. But I brought it up because I saw somebody using the same process to fix and reverse those spots
Yeah.
on this particular figure.
Yeah.
And it seemed like, I don't remember it being perfected, but it definitely was worth the trouble of them going through and doing it. It looked a lot better.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a cool figure here, you know, and I can't wait to have some of these
Standing.
standing and fixed. Now, I will say that these legs have some of these spots. Possibly. And markings on them.
This leg, that may actually be what we're talking about right here. Sorry, I'm using the
It's like leopard, you know.
camera in reverse and mirrored. Yeah, because I cannot scratch that off. So that is quite possibly the beginning of it, and it's really nothing other than, a lot of other figures probably do it and have it, but because of the color that they are, you may not ever see it.
Yeah.
You just may feel them getting sticky. But the lighter, your grays, your whites, your light blues, it's actually going to show the spots.
Yeah. You know, without the legs, he reminds me of one of those little robots that kind of hovers, almost like the I can't remember what they're called, but on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles old show, that have one wheel and they're in the games.
You sure that wasn't Darkwing Duck?
No. Oh, that might be, yeah. Yeah. That too.
What was his name? Gizmo Duck?
Yeah.
It was Gizmo
Yeah.
Duck.
So yeah, there you have it.
I think there is something in Turtles too.
Yeah.
But your description was taking me to Darkwing Duck.
Yeah. I was thinking Turtles, and then he reminded me of Darkwing Duck with Gizmo Duck. So yeah.
So Spikor here, they went a little different route with him. I'm not gonna fool with his legs. He has typical legs, bands need replaced. Starting to beat a dead horse there. He does have his mace. This would be his only accessory. The spikes on him are rubbery. This material wasn't used on any of the other body parts or accessories of the other Motu figures. They either had hard accessories, or same with their body parts, but.
And it's almost transparent with the studio lights in here. You can see a little sparkle of blue coming through it.
But yeah, all of these spikes are just like little rubber knobs. And then gimmick-wise, well, it's not really a gimmick. You have to actually do it. His pitchfork-looking thing slides out of his arm.
Raphael would call it a sigh. Here we've got Montana here. He's got another one of these crossbows here that does exactly the same way. But
it's not an auto-firing
no,
crossbow. Not. I was cleaning it and it went off.
There, if you get it just right, I think it stays in a lockdown position. But yeah. But the thing about this, it's another little gimmick here. There's a lever in the back here. You push up and his eyes bug out. And so he's got the same, band.
And considering his name is Mantenna, as in an antenna,
yeah.
I wonder if his eyes do that to receive messages.
Possibly, or cable TV,
Yeah.
or even internet now. Yeah. Wi-Fi.
Trapjaw here comes with, he has a couple different accessories for his arm. And a belt that holds 2 at a time. And then this robot arm, you just switch out the pieces as you see fit. And apparently he came with
One, I don't know if he came with two or another figure came with two, but I've got two here. A glow-in-the-dark ring, and so yeah, it's got a little glow in it, but most of it's worn out. I did actually buy some glow-in-the-dark craft paint at your own risk, I guess.
You can just dust it with uranium dust.
At your own risk. But at your own risk, you could reapply, some of these glow-in-the-dark paint for this ring or any other things. The first thing that comes to mind is that those toys, the Casper toys from Pizza Hut. When you bought a pizza or whatnot, and you bought a Casper ghost or one of those ghosts from the Casper movie.
And I don't know the chemical difference between the glow-in-the-dark substance from the 80s to 90s to now. But I did recently have a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
That it was a Gandalf Funko Pop, and the effects on his staff are supposed to glow in the dark. And when I bought him, which was just a couple years ago, it worked great. It would light up his face.
Wow.
You could tell who it was in the dark.
Yeah.
And eventually it started to fade, even though I would put the same amount of light on it before, we turn off the lights, that kind of thing. It wasn't until I got the idea whenever I was helping my daughter make jewelry, I had bought an extremely strong pure UV light.
Yeah.
Not pure in the sense of it's not from the
sun.
It's not the sun's strength,
Yeah.
but it's as pure UV as you can get a little lantern, and we were using it to dry resin, and I thought that's what reacts with the glow in the dark stuff is the UV light. So I wonder what happens if we this would be like putting something that's glow in the dark on drugs.
Yeah.
So I went and I got the Funko Pop that no longer glue in the dark with regular ambient light like it had for years. And I held this UV light on there for a while, and it started glowing so bright we could see it without turning the lights off.
Wow.
And to this day, it still glows in the dark like normal now. So it's almost like a pure shot of the UV light, maybe like recharged or woke up or reactivated. So before you go painting anything, that's always a shot too. If you have a black light, they also have the UV flashlights.
Yeah.
I think they're like $10 to $15.
Yeah. Now we've got Triclops here, and why didn't they do tri-faces for many faces?
And then we could have had Manny Clops.
Many Clops. Oh boy. We know it's late at night now. But yeah, you'll turn. You just turn it. I don't think there's another way of doing it, but you can change his basically it's his expression here. So you got just 3 different eyes here. And then he's got his sword here that you can take out and have him hold. And of course, it's the same type of figure like the other. He's got the He-Man Skeletor body. He's got his arms too, and yet they painted his, what do we want to call it?
Cuffs.
Cuffs, yeah.
Cuffs are arm guards.
Yeah. And then the same He-Man boots and everything. So here we got Cyclops. No, Triclops.
Cyclops. Leech here was pretty cool. He did come with a crossbow. Same kind of crossbow that we've been showing you on several different figures.
Right.
Don't know why he came with a crossbow.
He can't hold it.
He can't hold jack anything.
Yeah.
He could probably flip some pancakes in his bare hand.
He could form pancakes in his hand, yeah.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this guy is his hands are normal suction pads that you would play with in like your bath toys.
Yeah. This is a bath toy.
If they are wet, they're going to stick to a smooth surface, and then the head, particularly the mouth, it also suctions.
We
but
can see if it suctions on the edge here.
There's a pump. Might be able to see if I get him to levitate here.
Yeah.
So his mouth is the only thing touching the ground, and it's extremely off balance. But I'm pumping his back to create that. Yeah, just almost. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. It's the same. This table has a little texture to it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't provide a great seal.
Well, here, we got some wet.
I got it right here. We'll do it to Jamie's phone.
Okay.
So when you push on his back, it's gonna suck all that air out and create.
And here I have a new iPhone accessory.
A pretty decent. And also I think that it doubles as if you just hold it underwater and pump it.
Yeah.
I think that it would fill it up with water, and you can also use them as a squirt toy as well.
Yeah.
So he kind of cool because for the first time you had an action figure in the bathtub. Usually you have tile walls or laminate walls, and you know this guy could just be hanging from them.
Yeah.
Upside down, squirting the other toys. But that's Leech.
And we have, last but not least, Evil Lynn. She is Skeletor's right-hand woman. And so she has her little scepter wand thing here. She is basically Tila, just about, especially the legs. And so here we've got Tila here. So they're very, very similar. It's the same. Basically, it's just that they're painted differently. Especially you see it on the back here.
Different heads.
Different heads, obviously, yeah. But yeah, they did this all the time, and we were fine with it. You know, it just you make a different character, and that's probably also why they chose her to be yellow as well. I mean, she wasn't yellow in the cartoon. Classic repaint type deal, and you have a brand new figure. So yeah, we've got tons more to come, but this will do it for this episode because it's long enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll get with the rest of the play sets and what's out there today as far as Mo 2. And that'll all be the next episode as well. Thanks for joining. Please subscribe. You know, if you like this content, we don't just do one part of, you know, a toy line. We're trying to cover as much as possible. He-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, DC Toys, and even with the broad stuff that we've done with DC Toys, we can go back and do a specific part of DC Toys, especially Batman, since I've got a lot of Batman, and Green Arrow, since you've got a lot of Green Arrow. And so, yeah, and so subscribe. It helps us out, and we're doing this for free because we love the toys, and we love collecting. And
I'm not getting paid for this?
no one told you? All right. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.